morning. Reducing balance method of calculating depreciation. Worked example 2. The question reads, John Holt Ltd purchased a plant worth £20 with estimated useful life of 3 years and a salvage value of £1,714. If the vehicle is depreciated on a reducing balance method, what is the depreciation amount at the end of the 3rd year? Now, solution. You discover that the question did not give us the depreciation rates. They did not give us the depreciation rate as we can find. They only state the question and the depreciation rate is not given. What we need to do now is to first of all calculate the depreciation rates. And the depreciation rate is calculated with a particular formula that we have learned before in our previous tutorial on the reducing balance method of depreciation. And the question here, the option D is £903. So I do not know why I did not show here. So there is option A, £19,000. Option B, £902.5. Then option C, £17,147. Then option D is £903. So what we need to do in this question is to first of all calculate the rate of interest. The rate of depreciation. And the depreciation rate is calculated by the formula R is equals to 1 minus scrap value over cost raised to power 1/n, where rate is R is the depreciation rate, S is the salvage value, of course is the cost, C is the cost of a non-current asset, and N is the estimated useful life. So we are going now to calculate the rates. After calculating the rates, the next thing we do is to use the rates to multiply the costs. It's reducing balance method. So we go. So we are going to first of all calculate the rate with that formula stated, which is 1 minus S over N, everything raised to power 1/n. And that will now give us the rate of depreciation. And from there, we will now compute our depreciation schedule. Now compute our depreciation schedule. Solution. We first of all compute the rates. And the rate is given by the formula R is equal to 1 minus S over C all raised to what? 1/n, where R is the rate of depreciation, then X is the salvage value, which is 17147 as given in the question. 17147 as given in the question. Then C, which is the cost, is £20,000, and N is 3, which is what? 3 years. This is as given in the question. Now it becomes R is equals to 1 minus 17147 over 20,000 raised to power 1 over 3. Which is the same thing as R is equals to 1 minus 0.85735 raised to power 3 minus 1. Now that means 17147 divide 20,000 will give you a 0.85735, and it is raised to power 1 over 2. If it is raised to power 1 over 2, is same thing as raised to power 3 minus 1, or 3 and negative 1. So do not be confused there. Now 3 negative 1 is the same thing as R is equals to 1 minus 0.9499, and R is equals to 0.05. Now 0.85735 raised to power negative 1 is the same thing as 0.9499, and 1 minus 0.9499 is equals to 0.05, and this 0.05 will be expressed in percentage. So it's going to be R is equal to 0.05 times 100 over 1. Which invariably will give you as 0.5. If it's 0.5, you must take note that how we arrive at 0.9499. Yes, 0.9499. It is just 0.85735 raised to power 3 minus 1. And when something is raised to power 3 minus 1, using your scientific calculator, it will give you are going to compute it like this: 0.85735 raised to power 3 raised to power minus 1. That is when you will get it as 0.9499. So R is equal to 1 minus 0.8573 raised to power minus 3 is done like this. R is equals to 1 minus 0.8573 85735 raised to power 3 raised to power minus 1. That's what we are trying to explain there. Now we got it. Now we got the rates to 0.5%. That is 5%. So what we need to do now is to compute the depreciation schedule, where we have the year and the beginning book value BBV, the rates which is 5%, then the depreciation, the accumulated depreciation, then the net book value. Accumulated depreciation, then the net book value. The first year, the beginning book value of the first year, that is the opening value of the non-current asset for the first year, is 20,000. The depreciation rate, as calculated earlier, is 5%. And the depreciation now for the first year is 5% times 20,000, which is 1,000. Then the accumulated for the first year remain 1,000. Then the net book value for the first year is 20,000 minus 1,000, which is what? 19,000. The second year, the beginning book value for the second year is 19,000, which is the closing book value for the first year. And the depreciation rate is 5%. 5% times 19,000 will give you 950. Then the accumulated depreciation is 1,950, while the net book value for the second year is 18,050. Then the third year, the beginning book value is 18,050. Depreciation rate remains the same, and the depreciation balance, depreciation is 902, while the net book value is 17,147, as stated in the question. Now note that depreciation for the third year is not calculated from the depreciation rate. Depreciation for the third year, for the last year, when you are using the reducing balance, is calculated with this formula. And the formula is the beginning balance of the last year minus scrap value. That is to say, 18,050 minus 17,147. And that one will give you 903. Anytime you are using or you are calculating or you are solving anything like with your reducing balance method, you do not use the depreciation rate in the last year. So you use this formula, beginning book balance of the last year minus the scrap value as stated in the question. If you use the rates of interest, you will start to arrive at a value that will need to be estimated, and that will not allow your work to be balanced in the end, as the net book value is an item for the balance sheet. So we go ahead. So no, depreciation for the third year is calculated with beginning book value for the third year minus scrap value, which is 1850. That one is 1850 minus 17147. We give you 903. As you can see now, if we can go back to the question, you will see what the question is saying. The question says, look at what the question is saying now. Now the option we have here is 1, 19,000, 2, 9,902.5, as option C is 17,147. Then the last option, which is missing in this question, is 903. And the point in this tutorial is to inform students that the last year of calculating depreciation for reducing balance method, we should not use, or we will not use the rates. What we are going to use is the beginning balance of the last year minus the scrap value as shown in the question. If you use the rate to calculate it, you will arrive at option B. Option B is 902.5. But we want to arrive at the exact figure, which is 903, which is option B. Unfortunately, option B is missing from the question. Option D is missing from the question. Option D is the correct answer, which is 903. Thank you for learning with us. Like our tutorial, and share it, and subscribe to our channel. Thank you. God bless you.